What's going on, everybody? It's Brock again with the House of the Strong with another episode. So this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about a video that came out about a month ago, December 6th. Mr. Matt Rhodes, who's been doing some videos for Strongman lately, putting out some good videos. But I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with one of the videos that he did put out. In this particular one, he's talking about answering questions about Strongman that a lot of people don't like to answer. And so I took a little bit of research that he talked about, and did a little bit deeper digging to see exactly what the answers were. Now, I've never met Mr. Rhodes. He seems like a great guy. I'm not trying to be slanderous or make him feel bad or anything like that. We're just simply having a conversation, right? So he talked a little bit about Eddie Hall versus Thor. So here he is. This is the video that he had. World's Strongest Man 2020 question and answers that no one else discusses. So he talks about Mr. Eddie Hall and Mr. Thor Bjornsson. And he also brings up Colin Bryce. So right here, we have Eddie and Thor. Obviously, they're going to fight later this year, September 2021. And so the first thing that he brings up is Eddie and Colin Bryce's relationship. Now, if you look right here, this is Official Strongman Worldwide Limited. Now, he says that Eddie and Colin have a relationship that is not good for the sport. Now, Eddie and Colin do own a business together, or they're partners in a business together. Now, this business was created in 2018, July of 2018 to be specific. And you can see it right here. You got Colin Bryce, Alexander Hall, Edward Hall, and Darren Sadler. And they are all partners in this company together. Now, if we look at when this was incorporated, it was 26 July of 2018. A television program, production activities, and other sports activities. And then again on the actual main page of that website looks like this. So I have a hard time, believing that they had an unduly relationship in 2017. And we're talking specifically about the events that were chosen for World's Strongest Man, and which we'll talk a little bit more here in a minute. And then if we go back to here and we look at sponsors, okay, nowhere on here do we have Official Strongman Worldwide Limited. And then also an interesting note, if you look at the bottom, okay, and actually, hang on a second, you can't see it. Move this right here. All right, if you look at the bottom, you see that you have this right here, okay, the official company number, okay. If we go back and we look at the official company number, all right, those two numbers are different, okay. Those are not the same numbers. So this is pulled directly off the World's Strongest Man website, and this is not the same number. So the company itself has nothing to do directly with World's Strongest Man. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. And then we look at some more. We see more partners. Nothing about Official Strongman Worldwide Limited, right? And then you look at their homepage. This is the homepage. It's a screenshot taken directly from the homepage. They actually have Thor's t-shirt right there on the front. It's the very first one, right? Flanked by Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall. So if they are biased at some point towards Eddie, I'm not seeing it on their website at all. I don't see where Mr. Rhodes is saying they had an unduly relationship that affected the outcome of the 2017 World's Strongest Man. The evidence is just not there. They didn't have a company together until July of 2018, which, mind you, is also after the May 2018 World's Strongest Man. All right, so that's the one that Thor did win. So I'm not seeing that correlation, right? Yeah, obviously they do have a great personal relationship now and a professional relationship as well. You do see them working a lot together on Giants Lives and everything. You know, Eddie's a commentator for World's Strongest Man. He's been a commentator for a lot of the Giants Lives events, which is great. But I'm not seeing it in 2017. It's just simply not there. And then we'll also look at the air dates, right? So just so there's no confusion, 2018, they were already airing these on CBS in June of 2018, which is still before Official Strongman Worldwide Limited was even incorporated. And then also on strongman.org as well. All right. So personally, I'm just not seeing that evidence there. Now, also, he brings up events, right? The events were chosen for Mr. Eddie Hall. Now, if we look at other events, okay, so let's go over what the 2017 World's Strongest Man finals were. All right, first event up was the tire flip, okay, at 1,100 pounds, okay, for 6 flips. Now, Thor finishes second. Eddie finishes fifth. We look at the squat lift for reps. We see Eddie does take first with 15 reps, and Thor will take 6. He'll tie for 6th. That's an important note to make. Okay, he ties for 6th. We go to the Viking Press, which is obviously the one with the controversy. 15 reps to Mr. Hall, and then 14 reps to Mr. Bjornsson. Now, we could even go back and say that, you know, the 14 was really, some of those were given to him because he was putting down the implement before he was giving the down signal. Now, Mr. Rhodes doesn't argue this at all. You know, Thor 100% did not win that event. 100% with the events as they were laid out did not win. He 100% believes that Eddie was the winner. His qualms are with the event selection and saying there was more static events than, you know, previous years and in the years since. Now we'll get to that in a second. You look at the plane pool, which, you know, Thor's really good at. Thor finishes ahead of Eddie. You look at the max deadlift, you know, Thor places second to Eddie. You know, no one was going to beat Eddie in deadlift that year. And then you look at stones, Eddie finishes 4th and Thor takes 1st. So, you know, yes, Eddie does win 3 of the events. And you could argue the 3 static events, right? But then you look at the 3 non-static or moving or I believe, as Colin Bryce has put it, strength and endurance events. You have the tire flip. Thor beats him out. You have the plane pool. Thor beats him out. And you have the Atlas stones, and Thor beats him again. The big thing is him tying in that squat lift. That's where, you know, Thor loses out a lot of points. And then also tying in the deadlift, you know, Brian tying with him, you know, cut a point out of his total. So that's really what hurt Thor. Now, let's go look at some of the other events, right? So we have the 2016 World's Strongest Man finals, okay? You have a frame carry, a circus barbell press for reps. All right, so that's a static event. You have the max deadlift, static event. You have the plane pool, another moving one. Kettlebell throw. Now, this one you could argue it could be static, it could be moving. A lot of times this one comes down to technique more so than overall power. You can see a lot of the athletes, especially the first time that they're doing this, they struggle with this event. Mainly how their trajectory is, how they're releasing it, where they're standing at in relationship to the bar itself. So a lot of this is technique. So you could argue that maybe this isn't necessarily a moving event. I mean, you are moving, but you know, in my eyes, you could argue either way. Then you have the Atlas stones. You look at 2015, super yoke, deadlift for reps, truck pull, power stairs, max log press, Atlas stones. So we're kind of seeing at least 2 static events, and then one event, super yoke, 1,100 pounds. You got to be pretty statically strong to be able to pick up 500 kilos off the ground, first of all. And you can see here that there are 4 athletes who don't make the entire course. So you do have to be statically strong in order to do well at that. And you can see actually in 2015, Thor wins that event. Okay. So that's 2 years prior. Let's look at 2018. All right, the year that Thor wins it. You have a frame carry. Thor finishes 4th in. You have a car deadlift for reps, which Thor wins. Max overhead press, Thor wins. Bus pull, Thor finishes 2nd. Loading race, moving event for sure. Thor finishes 1st. Then Atlas Stones, Thor actually takes 5th, which if I recall correctly, he had already wrapped up the win at this point. And then we look at 2019. Now 2019 was only 5 events. And there's actually an interview with Big Laws and Colin Bryce talking about these events. And the reason why they only did 5, 2009 and 2020, they did do 6 events again. So going kind of back to the Big Laws interview with Colin Bryce, he specifically says that when the events are chosen, it's not just by him when he's making these big decisions. He's also talking to Magnus for Magnuson, Bill Kazmaier, Dan Stradler, and then Gregor, which I'm not exactly sure who that is. But it's not just him that's in there making these decisions. So once again, like I said, to say that it's all, all up to him, and that relationship, I'm just not seeing that correlation there. And that's really what I wanted to clarify, is that, doing some more research, the company wasn't even started until 2018, and we're talking about something that happened in 2017. So I'm not seeing that correlation there. And the only real bone I have to pick with them is that. And then he even says, you look in that video at the 4-minute mark, he says, I haven't, and this is paraphrased, I haven't properly done my research. When I say things, I base it off the facts that I have found. Take with that what you will. Okay. Hopefully, if he does see this video, I don't have any problems with him, but this is my take on it. This is my opinion, I suppose. I don't really consider this an opinion though, because these are facts as I see them. The company wasn't started until July of 2018, so I don't understand how you're going to say that Colin Bryce and Eddie Hall has had an unduly relationship that hurt the sport in 2017. And to say that the events were picked specifically for him, the only real difference was that the overhead, instead of it being like 2 dumbbells and then 2 barbells to lift, it was just one implement that you sat and did reps with, right? That's what the previous World's Strongest Man in finals were. It was like you do 2 circus dumbbells for reps, you do 1 rep, right, with each one, and then you would do the barbell, or you would do the giant log, something like that, and whoever did it the fastest, right? And you could argue even those, you still have to be pretty statically strong to be able to do those to begin with, and then to do them quickly. That is some athleticism in there. I don't think that adding the Viking Press in there instead of one of those events made a difference, to be honest. I don't think it's going to make a difference at all in the results that came out. So, that's just kind of my opinion. That's just kind of my answer to his video. He talks about some other things in that video, which I'm not going to touch on, but specifically he talks about, Eddie and Thor, and there's, the controversy behind it and everything. And he talks about the video that Eddie put out, and that the company that put it out to begin with was his company. And personally, I think the behind the scenes video goes to show that Thor was given many opportunities to not only show Colin Bryce his technique, which he does in the boneyard, right? When he's explaining the rules and everything like that, he explains all that stuff, Colin Bryce, to Thor. Any questions at all? Thor, during the Viking Press, puts down the implement and is warned at least 3 times not to put the implement down until he gets the down signal, right? And Colin Bryce gave him all of those reps. The only one he took away was the last one when he'd actually double dipped twice before that. So in reality, he was given 3 to 5 reps that he shouldn't have earned to begin with. You know, and Mr. Rhodes alludes to that. He says, you know, 100%, you know, I'm not saying that Thor should have won that event or that he was taking anything away from him. But the events themselves, and that's kind of the controversy I have with him. You know, that's not true. The company wasn't started until July of 2018. We're talking about an event that happened in 2017. So I don't see that anywhere. So hope you enjoyed the video. Just trying to touch on some different things. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you press that like button. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe and go out there and be strong. And we'll check you guys next time.